Okay, Zeke, it's going to be a short show tonight because we were all busy during July 4th. So because of that, I just want to say, go to our friends distilleryproducts.com if you have laser etched glassware needs and want to get them at wholesale pricing. They're awesome. Carson, Jane, Vicky, the whole crew over there. Check them out at distilleryproducts.com. Go to our friends at orcacoolers.com if you want the best tumblers and coolers out there. They are roto-molded. They keep ice for days. Zeke is always using his whiskey barrel tumbler. I see him all the time when we're Zooming together recording this show. He is drinking out of that tumbler. Use code DADSEASON, that's DADSEASON, for 20% off at orcacoolers.com. And last but not least, our friends at action247.com. If you use code DADS100, they will match up to $400 of your deposit. And there's a lot going on this week. The NBA Finals just started tonight. We're watching it as we're recording right now. Phoenix is running away with 20-point lead, and they're taking on the Bucks. The Stanley Cup Final, it is 3-1 with the Lightning on top over the Canadiens. It's going to come down to Game 5 tomorrow, which is actually tonight by the time this comes out. So tonight at 7 o'clock, the Lightning and the Canadiens battle it out. Golf insurance is also going on. The 2020 Euro is down to 4 teams. Wimbledon is continuing. Go ahead and go to action247.com. Use code DADS100. Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me, as always, is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drink of Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. You see, I cut down the sponsors there, Zeke, because, and they'll appreciate it. They'll know our plight. We were busy enjoying the holiday weekend. I'm going to have to edit this tonight and get it out tomorrow. It's going to be a shorter show. I hope everybody is okay with that, and just knowing that we want to review this strange collaboration from Chord, but we also realize that at some point I have to sleep.
I did think of something random while you were rambling, though. I saw this moving company van thing today on the interstate. I swear I don't remember ever seeing this before, but Catfish Moving Company. And I'm just like, well, that's an interesting name. I mean, given what, catfish or catfishing means in today's society, and the fact that most moving companies are already pretty damn shady, and like you always worry up to the last minute if they're going to show up or not, or if they're actually going to carry your stuff to where it's supposed to go. Like, who came up with this name? This doesn't just seem very savvy if it's a business model for a company here.
No, they have this profile that has like AC units in the moving bed and all that stuff. It looks all posh in there, and then they show up and it's like a truck with a flat tire and one blanket. You've been catfished.
Yeah, I was just like, man, all things to come up with a name for a moving company, I think I would have gone besides something other than catfish. Like, what relevance does that even have for moving?
In all seriousness, I think it is playing off of the whole thing with Catfish and the Preds. I'm sure in this part of Tennessee, it's a tradition. You don't watch hockey, I know this, but it is a tradition. If you go to a Nashville Predators game, at some point a catfish is getting thrown on the ice.
I mean, I'm aware of what you're going into. I'm just saying it said like a national company, so I don't think it had jack shit to do with the Preds. Oh,
well then I stand corrected. Let's move on to the whiskey. So this is Strange Collaboration from Chord. Now, Strange Collaboration is a blend of Kentucky straight bourbon aged between 2 and 6 years, selected for low fusel oil content and light body, finished for 3 months in Strange Family French Oak Pinot Noir casks. I said that funny. And bottled at 99 proof. The result is a unique expression of bourbon, high proof, light body with a hint of Pinot Noir.
What was that fusel oil thing? Something you said?
It was selected for low fusel oil content and light body. It's 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. It is 49.5 ABV and 99 proof. And fusel oil are mixtures of several higher alcohols, those with 2 or more carbons, chiefly amyl alcohol, produced as a byproduct of alcoholic fermentation. And basically, it's a scientific debate whether or not fusel alcohol contributes to hangover symptoms. A Japanese study in 2003 concluded the fusel oil in whiskey had no effect on the ethanol-induced emetic response. Additionally, consumption of fusel oils with ethanol suppressed subjects' subsequent taste aversion to alcohol, which suggested subjects' hangover symptoms were lessened, according to the journal. So less fusel oils, less chance of a hangover. It is science.
So that's some kind of heads and tails kind of thing?
It's the tails.
I've never heard that before, so I thought it was somewhat interesting.
So it's basically, less oily. That's it. Less heavy. They wanted a light, airy feeling. This card is full of information. I have to say thank you, Chord, for providing stats and information that truly is valuable. This has been one of the better corollary documents to let us know what's going on. I also like that it said Chord is founded by music legend Neil Girardo. They celebrate creativity, community, and tradition by bringing together the award-winning musician and producer's love of whiskey and music with his passion for conversations with family and friends. It's inspired by the simplicity yet infinite expressions of the 3-chord progression, the foundation of the blues. And we had Neil and Ari Sussman, their master blender and distiller, on to talk about the whole process. Zeke was not there for that show, so he probably did not listen to it. But what I do like is that they are very open and transparent with the fact that 3-chord sources high quality and rare whiskeys from the top distilleries in Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Indiana for use in blend, single source bottlings, and special releases. By using carefully selected barrels and combining unique flavor profiles, 3-chord creates an expression that is greater than the sum of its parts. The whiskeys are aged in heavy toast 4 char number 1 barrels, French and American oak hybrid charred number 3 barrels, barrels imported from Cognac, not charred, and barrels from Spain, not charred. After blending, they are returned to the barrels a second time, then bottled in Chelsea, Michigan. So they are very transparent. They're telling you everything they do. So cheers to them for that.
Yeah, that seemed a whole lot more in depth than just some Pinot Noir barrels.
Oh, this isn't necessary. What I just read is what they do overall. These were French oak Pinot Noir barrels for 3 months. So on one side, it has what's going on with Strange Collaboration, which I already read you. And the thing I just read you was about 3-chord in general. So it was encompassing not just Strange Collaboration.
I'm in the game now, Sammy.
But this was Pinot Noir from the Strange family, French oak Pinot Noir for 3 months after they took Kentucky bourbon that was aged 2 to 6 years. Fair enough? You with me?
I'm with you now. That little side street you went down, it lost me because I'm at about 10% attention during that kind of stuff.
Well, you're watching the freaking game. Stop watching the game.
It's a commercial. I'm not.
Then stop watching a commercial.
I'm not. It just looks prettier than your face on the screen.
I've put the camera up so that you only really see my dented forehead. That's all you're really able to see.
I figured that just meant you weren't wearing pants again.
That's all the time. But what did you think about this whiskey, Zeke Baker?
I was definitely intrigued on this one from the nose, more so than I think I have been anything in a minute. We'll circle back to this thought that I had because it's a little out there. Nose-wise, I definitely thought there was a lot of floral essence going on with some ethanol. It was almost perfumey in ways. As it kind of calmed down a little bit, I thought it was almost brandy-like to me, kind of a fruit and floral essence again. And peaches is what came to mind. I don't know. It was something in that range of sweetness. Didn't really seem to have like tart or other things going on like some other fruits that I think come to mind easily. But that was just what kind of popped in my head. It's also summertime, and that's when those things taste the best. So maybe that had something to do with it. However, on the palate, I thought it just seemed really light and young, moving across the tongue. It seemed kind of prickly, and even towards the back of the tongue, it just had what I put as a craft feel. That's kind of hard to describe other than just kind of like a prickliness, and you can just tell it's not completely aged or well-rounded yet. And beyond that, it just kind of got dry for a little bit and seemed to be missing much linger of a finish or an aftertaste.
I think for me on the nose, I got a lot of corn. I mean, it was corn forward with dark fruit like cherry, plum, and red grapes, but the corn was present for me. The taste for me, the Pinot really took over, and that's where I really found it just tasted more wine to me than whiskey. Again, an example of our palates being completely different. This was not too dry for me. As far as finished whiskeys go, I'm like, yeah, the wine took over on the taste, but it wasn't dry. And that's the thing that normally takes me away from finished whiskeys is when they get very, very dry. So all in all, this is coming in at $45 to $50. It is a fair enough pour for me to say, and again, with the caveat that Zeke and I are not the biggest finished whiskey guys in the whole entire world. This is actually one that I don't mind. I mean, I'm probably, just because of my disposition against finished whiskeys, I'm probably not going to go buy a bottle, but I could get a pour of this at a bar and be very happy. I mean, I think for me, if you like finished whiskeys, this is a better one. So whether or not I'd buy it doesn't mean shit to you. You just get it if you like it. Zeke and I are very hard pressed to find a finished whiskey that we're running out to get.
So that's where I was kind of going to ramble just for a second. Over the weekend, I did have a product I don't think I can speak of much yet, but it's peach brandy finished bourbon. TTB's not done it yet, so I don't know what I can or can't say, but it was very strange, but just very good. Like, how sometimes a uniqueness like just sucks you in, and at first you're thrown off, but then you think about it, you're like, give me a little bit more. Let me get a little bit more. That's where I was with that. And smelling this in the glass, it really reminded me of that experience on the front half. And I was like super excited, like, oh, well, this is kind of a weird coincidence. Like 2 out of 3 days in a row here, I've had a unique smell and sensation that I don't really get too much out of whiskey. For me, at least on the profile, this one, it definitely came up short. I don't know if it's the age of, some of that super young stuff that's in there for the blend. And like I say, I didn't pick up the corn, you did, but I think between our two sets of notes, there definitely seems to be enough in there to kind of point the finger at, the whiskey's not old enough. It still has some crafty young characteristics that just, they throw you off a little bit from just an easy laid back sipper, which at 99 proof, that's really what you'd expect is, no thoughts, no flinches, no water or ice necessary, really just kind of sippers.
I'm going to differ with you on this because the price for a finished whiskey, they could go ahead and say this is an LTO, and they've had more expensive LTOs. I think it's a fair price on this. I think if you like finished whiskeys, it's worth a try. I'm not hating on this one. It's priced right, tastes good. For me, it's so hard to find a finished whiskey that I'm jumping up and down for, but this was one I wasn't running away from, and that has to mean something. I'm trying to bring our bias into play here. The nose was decent. The people that are going to want that dry, wine, they're going to look for that because they like that type of whiskey. They like it when it's fished. They like it when it's finished in a wine barrel for that reason. So like the things that I think you're saying as a negative, if this is your jam, it's a positive to them.
So I didn't get a ton of wine in there. I'm telling you what the curveball that kind of sealed the deal for me was the amount of craft whiskey I could pick up out of it. That's really what got me on this. Those flashes of, kind of sawdusty youth, unrefined cornfield.
I guess. I don't know.
That's what threw me off. I mean, you could tell from the nose it was some type of finish. I obviously didn't know what. I didn't have prejudice on that going into it. It was really as it moved across the palate and just had like that prickly feel. And I don't know, that was the vibe I got.
We will agree to disagree on this one. How about that?
Fair enough.
Thank you, Chord, for sending us this whiskey. By no means, as you obviously have heard, does it affect our ability to give an unbiased, open, and honest review. So go ahead and check them out. Chord whiskey on all the fun grams and things like that. And they have a website. If you don't know how to use Google and put in Chord, reach out to Zeke. He'll help you. Go ahead and find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Find us wherever you download your podcasts. You already have because you're listening to us right now. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Good old Music City, USA.
Cheers.
Ciao.